When I was growing up, I was always sick at Christmas time with pneumonia. And I remember this one time taking a bath. Actually, a bubble bath that my mother had bought for me, hoping that I'd feel better. And I remember that it smelled like a bouquet of flowers. I believe that this is the day that I began my scent journey. Who knew back then that this simple bath would send me on my career path of creating beautiful fragrances and become my life's passion of discovering all of the exciting elements to scent? So, let's talk scent. How does it work? Well, basically, when you smell something, the molecules that carry the odor into your nostrils hit your olfactive bulb and send a message to the brain. And because the sense of smell is directly tied to the limbic system, the area of the brain that controls memory and emotion, scent or fragrance is a direct neurological pathway to memory and mood. So, knowing all this, have you ever thought about what all this stuff flying up your nose may look like? Well, British biochemist John Moore's stereochemical theory maps the connection between the geometric shape of the molecule and the odor sensation that it produces. Basically, in our nose, we have holes or receptors, and as a molecule of a certain shape comes along and finds its receptor and it fits in, it sends that message to the brain. Actually, let me show you what that may look like. So as you can see, musky are like these disc-shaped molecules that actually fit into a bowl-shaped receptor. And then there's minty, which is a web-shaped molecule. Then we have, let's see what we have next. We have camphorous, which is elliptical, which is slightly smaller than that of musky. And then there's ethereal, which is like pear, which is actually a rod-shaped molecule. And then floral is a disc-shaped molecule that has a slight tail to it. And then there's putrid, which is actually a negative charge that finds a positive. And then pungent is actually a positive that finds a negative. And when multiple odors fit multiple receptors all at once, they produce a bouquet effect, and something magical happens. So let me ask you this. How do you think this rose should smell? Pretty, soft, rosy? What about now? Do you automatically think that it should smell limey or minty just because it's now green? So not only does scent have shape association and color association, but it can also be multidimensional. Early on in my career, I began to challenge myself to see if I could smell past that initial scent experience. For instance, this orange. When you smell this orange, of course you're going to smell the beautiful orange essence that everybody is used to, but if you open your mind and you step past that orange essence, you'll begin to smell the individual molecules, the same molecules that you will find in lavender and in wintergreen and also in geranium. Why? Because scent in nature is a complex mixture of unique molecules that when grouped together produce amazing fragrance experiences. And depending on that order of the molecules depends the overall result. Think about it. We are constantly smelling. With every breath we take in scent. Okay, I want you guys to close your eyes and take a deep breath through your nose, all right? What is it that you're smelling right this second? Can you smell yourself? Maybe the person next to you? What is their scent imprint? Are they a man, a woman, smoker? Are they wearing fragrance? Do you like the fragrance? If you don't like the fragrance, I wouldn't say that at all. Or seriously, maybe all you can really smell is that bag of M&Ms they just ate. All right, you guys can open your eyes now. Now I want you to think back to an early memory that involves scent. For me, it's when I smell my grandpappy's moldy rumpus room, or I remember my father, slapping Old Spice on his neck. Maybe for you, it's the smell of silly putty, Play-Doh, or glue. What is the connection between memory and scent? Well, when you encounter a scent for the very first time, the brain links it to that person, place, or event, and then stores it. And when you encounter the scent again, because the link is already established within the brain, it instantly is replayed. So kind of think autopilot. And because most new scents we encounter within our youth, certain fragrances have a lasting impression. Does anybody know what the number one scent is that is associated with our childhood? Anyone? Who said it? Yep, crayons. And I bet there's not one person in this audience today that when smelling a new box of crayons is not instantly transported back to some time in their childhood. So if we think back about that earliest memory, I bet that each and every one of you could probably describe it visually to a T. For instance, if it was a memory about you baking a cake with your mother, you could probably describe the yellow bowl and the red dress that she's wearing, or apron. But to describe the scent and your challenge, it's not easy to describe scent in the same detailed manner that we describe the yellow cake bowl. And because of this, we use adjectives like, how'd that smell? Oh my God, it's amazing, it's delicious. Or, depending on who your mother is, it's disgusting, it's burnt. So we weren't really wrong when we talked about the rose smelling soft, pretty, or rosy, but when you smell a rose, what you are smelling are actually notes of geraniol, which is found in geranium and gives the rose its rosy tone. There is eugenol, which is found in clove and gives the rose its spiciness. There's a bit of linalool, which is found in lavender and gives the rose its aromatic piece. And then finally, there is hexanol, which gives the rose a bit of a fresh-cut grass note. These are some of just the 150 identifiable molecules that, when brought together in that certain order, produce the basic scent print of the common rose. You know, growing up in Southern California, on my way to work, you know, in my convertible with the top down, my daily scent experience could be this: beautiful orange blossoms. And then, you know, it could be also, depending on the route I decided to take, this. Salty, aquatic, marine air. But because scent can also be my villain, and I live in New York City, I now have this, right? And as I squeeze myself into this sardine can, I realize these aromas that start invading me, they actually start to attack me because my scent neuroses begins to take over as my biggest villain is on this train today: malodors. Exactly how much garlic did you have for dinner last night, right? Or, it's a body splash, not a body drench. Have you ever heard of deodorant? And then my absolutely favorite scent at 6:45 on a Monday morning: are you still drunk? Seriously. But ironically, off scents can be the right scents to creating beautiful fragrances. Take, for instance, this iconic fragrance. I'm sure that every one of you are very familiar with its spicy vanilla type fragrance. But did you know that 2 of its ingredients are actually from the glands of animals? Musk, which is from the scent pod of the male musk deer, cute, right? Adds a bit of earthy animal woody note. And then civet, which is a fecal-like odor that is secreted from the genitalia of this nocturnal Ethiopian cat. Gives this fragrance its pheromone-like seductiveness. And without these 2 ingredients, this fragrance would be lacking the primal sensuality veil that it wraps you in, and there would not be an obsession as you know it. Fortunately, chemists have devised a way to recreate both of these ingredients synthetically, in part for consistency as well as for animal protection. Exactly. So, here's a thought. Has society subconsciously taught us to gravitate towards scents and smells that we think we should not, that we think we should like, and to stay away from those that we should not? Did you know that only 20% of the fragrance sales are generated from perfumes and colognes, and the other 80% are from products that are designed to mask odors? The odors we've been taught not to like? And are we that influenced by the advertising world to think if we were to spritz this fragrance on us, we would actually smell it and look like Charlize Theron? And let me ask you this while I'm at it. Why is it that we are so disgusted and repulsed when someone else passes gas, but when we do it, it's really not that bad? Seriously, right? Think about it. We're all guilty here. Seriously. The only explanation I can come up with is maybe, I don't know, farts are like children. You don't mind your own, but you really can't stand anybody else's. And speaking of children, children like almost all scents until they are taught otherwise by society. What is a good scent and what is a bad scent? But I can tell you, through my studies, there is actually one scent that is the ultimate combination of good and evil. One that smells so delicious when you smell it, but yet is one of the worst things for you. What is it with bacon that every time we smell it, it smells so damn good and tastes so delicious? Well, research shows that when you cook bacon, the sizzling heat against the bacon actually creates a chemical effect called the Maillard effect, which is when reduced sugars react with amino acids. And when these amino acids react with each other, they start to produce their own set of molecules that vary in scent and flavor that then come together to form a new complex molecule that is very indescribable and yet so damn addictive and tastes so good. It's actually the same molecular reaction that happens when we toast bread, roast coffee, make chocolate, and also cook caramel. Some of our strongest singular addictions. You know, have you ever thought about the decisions you make daily, consciously or subconsciously, that might be influenced by scent? Think about it. Where you like to go shopping, eat, or even go on vacation? I love this picture. And the reason why I love this picture is because, of course, every time I look at it, I think of the great times that my partner Paul and I have had at this resort, but I can also remember how amazing that these pine trees smell. You know, the next time you're actually taking a picture such as this, do yourself a favor, take the picture and then realize there's a scent snapshot that can be taken. Oops, sorry. Can be taken. And I guarantee you that the next time you look at your photos, you'll have an added dimension to that memory. You know, decisions are constantly being made daily based upon scent. You know, maybe tonight when you guys are leaving, on your way home, you decide to stop at your favorite Chinese restaurant, but you remember exactly how bad your clothes smelled the last time you ate there. So you decide on takeout instead. You know, about a month ago, I was with my mother, and I noticed the fragrance she's wearing. Surprise, right? And I asked her what it was, and she reminded me that it was an orange blossom fragrance that I had created years ago. Well, this triggered me back to an amazing moment. The scent of my childhood bath, that bubble bath, was actually orange blossoms, and it had influenced me on so many subconscious levels. It was an important scent memory that I carried with me throughout my life and my career. It was at this moment that I truly appreciated how scent has so deeply influenced my life, my decisions, my career paths, and even my vacations. My subconscious always knew, but now my conscious self knows. Imagine how powerful your history with scent is and all of the decisions it has influenced. My challenge for you today is to go out, take a deep breath, and smell that all the world has to offer for you. I promise you, it will enhance your life. Thank you.